Lesson 18. When you don't feel enough. Everyone feels not enough sometimes, even the strongest people, even the calmest people, even the ones who look confident on the outside. Feeling not enough is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of being human. Seneca wrote, "You are better than you think." The Christian desert monks taught, "The heart is healed by remembering its source." And Scripture says, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." The feeling of not enough comes from comparison, pressure, old wounds, and the quiet fear that who we are is somehow insufficient. But feelings are not truth. Feelings are weather. They pass. Truth is the ground beneath them. The truth is, you don't need to earn worth. You don't need to perform value. You don't need to prove identity. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. Worth is not something you achieve. Worth is something you receive. You can see this in everyday life. You make a mistake, and suddenly your mind whispers, "See? You're not enough." But mistakes are part of being alive. They don't define you. You see someone more successful, more confident, more put together, and your heart tightens. But comparison is a lie. It shows you someone's highlight reel and hides their battles. You feel tired, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained, and you think, if I were stronger, I wouldn't feel this way. But exhaustion is not weakness. It is a sign that you've been carrying too much alone. The Christian desert monks understood this deeply. They believed that the feeling of not enough comes from forgetting who you belong to. They said, the one who remembers God forgets their fear, not because fear disappears, but because identity becomes rooted in something deeper than emotion. Scripture echoes this with the words, "My grace is sufficient for you." Not your performance, not your perfection. Grace. Feeling not enough often comes from the ego, the part of you that wants to be admired, understood, validated, flawless. But the soul doesn't want perfection. The soul wants truth. The soul wants connection. The soul wants God. The first movement in healing this feeling is honesty. Honesty that says, yes, I feel inadequate right now. Not to shame yourself, but to bring the feeling into the light. The monks said, "What is confessed is healed," meaning, what you name loses its power. The second movement is compassion. Compassion toward yourself. Most people treat themselves with a harshness they would never use on a friend, but the soul grows through gentleness, not judgment. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. You're tired, not failing. You're learning, not broken. You're growing, not behind. The third movement is returning to your source, and this is where prayer becomes essential. What is prayer? Prayer is not a performance. Prayer is not a ritual you must get perfect. Prayer is not a list of words. Prayer is remembering who you are. Prayer is remembering whose you are. Prayer is returning to the truth that you are held. Prayer helps in three profound ways. 1. Prayer interrupts the spiral. When your mind says, "I'm not enough," and you whisper, "Lord, have mercy," the spiral breaks. A new space opens. 2. Prayer reconnects you to your identity. Identity rooted in God is unshakable. Identity rooted in performance is fragile. 3. Prayer fills the heart with presence. You stop standing alone inside your insecurity. You stand with God. The Christian desert monks repeated short prayers throughout the day, not because they were weak, but because they knew the mind wanders and the heart forgets. You can do the same. When you feel inadequate, whisper, "Lord, remind me who I am." When you feel insecure, whisper, "Lord, be my strength." When you feel unworthy, whisper, "Lord, let me rest in your love." Prayer doesn't erase the feeling instantly, but it shifts the ground beneath it. It brings you back to truth. You can also practice grounding yourself in simple ways. Place your hand on your chest. Take one slow breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Return to the present moment. The present moment is always enough. It doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence. And each day you can return to 3 simple movements. Return to honesty. Name what hurts. Return to compassion. Soften the inner voice. Return to prayer. Reconnect to your source. You are not enough. You are a soul in progress, a heart learning to trust, a person growing into their depth. And God meets you not in your perfection, but in your need. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with me. If this lesson brought you peace, consider sharing it with someone who may need it. Until next time, stay gentle with your soul.